Well, on Tuesday, the leadership of the recently inaugurated 10th National Assembly announced the appointment of principal officers for the red and the green chambers. But that appointment is causing a stir in both camps of the All Progressives Congress in the National Assembly and the minority parties in the Assembly. It has resulted in subtle and open protests by members and party chieftains. Some political analysts believe these latest appointments will deepen the schism in the opposition People's Democratic Party and the power struggle between the Nyesom Wike and Atiku Abubakar blocs. Chief Bode George joins me now to analyze this development. Good evening, Chief George, and good to see you. You've been making immense move to see that the party is back. But again, first, let's delve into the National Assembly and speak towards the feeling of your party in the leadership process.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to discuss some of the problems that are plaguing the party. You know, there is no organization anywhere in the world that you will not have some disagreements. But I want to state categorically that this is as a result of the divided house before the election. And a divided house will always be a defeated house. But the party met recently for reconciliation. And as a starting point, at the party secretariat, you know, I also attended that meeting. But it wasn't a full membership, you know. Of course, we are still in court, and it is very difficult to assemble all sides because the courts are still sitting. Now, we said there at the meeting that the best thing to do is for the managers of the party, that as a starting point, that there was need to set up a special committee to look into what actually happened before the elections. Why did we have these divisions? And hopefully they will listen to us. But if you've been watching the cases in the courts, the deliveries by the various lawyers and all that, you know, you would come to a conclusion that all is not over yet. Yes, you spoke about the continuation of the division for the minority leaders in the National Assembly. It's all still a continuation. We haven't gotten to that point where we tell everybody to down their tools. Let's get back to the inner caucus of the party and rearrange. There must be a post-mortem analysis of what happened and then make room for us to progress. I am absolutely confident that we will learn a lot of lessons, because that's what I said at that meeting, that every side has been wrong. All sides are wrong. There is no winner, there is no victor, no vanquished. We must get back to the doctrine as established by the founding fathers of our party. We must learn some lessons so that in future we avoid such pitfalls. It's still a continuation because the committee has not been set up. We are still banging up and down ourselves. But I want to remind our people and Nigerians that the mentality of retaliation does not build an organization. But the mentality of tolerance builds an organization. And we must remember that we need to forgive ourselves, forget some things, so that we can move forward. Like we are told in the Holy Book, in the Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 6, verses 14 and 15. I want our people to go home and read them. This nation needs to stabilize. Our party is the first political party that carries the national emblem of this country. And the founding fathers gave up so much of their personal ambition and personal laurels to establish the People's Democratic Party. We must not allow it to die. Let us forget about our personal ambitions and go forward.
Well, let me jump in here. The good thing is that you're not new when it comes to conflict resolution. You've always done that. So what's the reading you? What's the reading you're getting at the moment? What's the vibe? Looking at two prominent camps, Nyesom Wike and Atiku Abubakar, are they listening to you?
No, the point is this. We are still in court. Everybody still thinks he can win. This one will lose. And until the court decides who actually won that election, will be a futile exercise trying to bring all the sides together. In fact, I want to advise those who are jumping ship now to calm down. Because you can hear the chairman of the APC himself coming to say publicly that the membership of the leadership in the Senate of the APC, that there is a crack. So when you have your own house, you have a problem in your house, it is better to stay in that house and resolve your problem. There is nothing impossible if you have the fear of God in you. This is something we can resolve. It is not a private enterprise of any individual. There are doctrines, there are laws, there are ways by which the founding fathers packaged the party. We drifted. And like I said, in any human organization, we can disagree, but we must never be disagreeable. I want to appeal to all sides. Let us not allow this party to go down. The founding fathers gave so much of their personal ambition to come together. Because let me tell you, Chibola Ige from the southwest, Dr. Alex Ekweme from the southeast, politically, can you imagine that they can be in the same room and discuss? Papa Solomon La with Alhaji Shiroma, they all came together in the interest of our nation called Nigeria. And they were able to give up so much of their personal interest, and that the national interest should be paramount. Now, we forgot all about this. We drifted apart, and that landed us where we are as a political party, the PDP. But the PDP has a solid foundation. There's a little crack in it, and that's what we must get back, put them all back, let them come back together, tell ourselves some home truths within the inner caucus of the party. We must never, never allow this party to crack up. Some people are moving here, paying this. Courtesy, you can pay your courtesy, you can do this. But those who are foundation members of our party, what those people put together, never in the history of this country had that been done until 1998. If we go back into the memory and the history of how the PDP emerged, I have been in this party since 1998. I knew how we started in the 50s. Most of the political parties were all tribal parties. The Action Group, the NCNC, and the NPC. But when PDP came out, he had the flags from the swampy forest of our nation to the savannah region. I have traversed the length and breadth of this country, and no other political party has the strength that we have. But we drifted. We overlooked certain tenets that we should respect. And so we found ourselves in this quagmire.
Okay,
that for anybody to now think, I can get it done. I believe we will get it. We will sort it out. We will sort it out.
So, Chief Judge, quickly here.
And anybody...
What are some of the tenets, sorry to butt in here, what are some of the tenets you think or your party members ignored that brought the party to where it is?
Right. Now, okay, if you want me to go into the history, I'll do that. You know, in the First Republic, during Baba Tafawa Balewa as Prime Minister, the majority had their way and they had their say, and minorities were mere onlookers, both in the north and also in the south. That created so much friction and instability until all those, the first coup, the counter coup, and the civil war and all that led to that. But then we had Shagari's government, the same thing. The majority had their way, minority were mere onlookers. But in 1998, these founding fathers, I've mentioned Chibolaige, Baba Alex Ekweme, Baba Nwobodo, Solomon La, Alhaji Rimi, Alhaji Shiroma, and some others in the north, 14 of them. They came together. These were people from different political leanings. They came together and said, look, how can we resolve this perennial problem of this country? How can we bring everybody together, whether you are minority or majority? And what did they do? They said, look, let's divide Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones. If you look at it, that division, the geopolitical zone, is not listed in our own constitution, the federal constitution. But today, you have 6 geopolitical zones: northwest, northeast, north central, southeast, southwest, south-south. And there were 6 top positions in the land. The number 1 position is the president. The second is the vice president. Number 3 is the Senate president. Number 4 is the speaker. Number 5, the secretary to government. And the 6th position is the chairman of the party. So if you see from 1 to 6, all the even numbers will go to one zone. All the odd numbers will go to the down zone. If the other ones go to the north, the even numbers will come to the south. After 8 years, all those positions in the south must go to the north, and those in the north will come to the south. That was what gave us the luck and the acceptability by Nigerians in 1999 election, and we won. The one in 2003, we also won. But the moment we started manipulating these top positions, there will be problem. That was what happened. If the presidency had been in the north, then he must, for 8 years, he must automatically come to the south. Vice versa, all the other even numbers will go like I have described. We argued it. We discussed it. That was the separating point. And so you now have the North having been president for 8 years, and you are still arguing that Nigerians will support you to have another president for another 8 years from the North. It was not acceptable. So that was the major point of our departure and the crisis in our party. Unfortunately, they manipulated it, they manipulated that, and at the end of it, you know, we told Yocha Ayu that since you agreed, let's reorganize the top echelon of your campaign team so that the Southwest can be recognized in the top echelon for the campaign period. He said no. He has 4 years to manage the party. And if you look at the congregation of that apex, the Southwest has no representation at all. So how do I, somebody like me, go to the rostrum and start campaigning for my party? People would ask me, okay, what are you bringing home to the Yoruba people? Nothing. It was not acceptable. And the result just was clean, clear,
we're winding down.
Reflective.
We're winding down. Now
Yeah.
you've just taken us down history, and quickly here, when specifically this did not affect the Southwest, what made you stay back as a member of the PDP, knowing full well that it was not reflecting on the goals and aspiration of the people of Nigeria's Southwest?
You know what I told you? A rolling stone gathers no moss. Because of the mistake they made, doesn't make it perpetual. We made a mistake. We disagreed. But we must not be disagreeable. You don't jump from one party to the other and people will now think you are really interested in the building and the development of your nation. You mean now that they have crisis also in APC, so the APC people will start jumping ship? No, that's not leadership. Leadership is about building your blocks, staying there and mentoring younger generation to believe in your party, to believe in the norms and of your party, to believe in the doctrines of the party. How do you put smiles on the faces of Nigerians? Those of us who are card-carrying members of the party, of all political parties, we are not more than 25% or 30% of the total population of this country. And if you are managing them, they must make sure that you are consistent, you can speak the truth to power, you are more interested in leadership. In other words, trying to lift those people at the bottom of the base. That is the responsibility you have. It is utilizing the resources of your land for the benefit of the people. It is not you per se. What are you running from one party to another? Now they have crisis in the other political party. You know what they have even done presently. Now, out of the 6 top positions I've mentioned, you know, only 2 of those positions are in the South with the APC. That's absolutely unjustifiable because the president is the South, the vice president North, the Senate president South, the speaker is North, the secretary to government is North, the chairman of their party is North. Where is that balancing? You follow what I'm saying? People are now listening. The younger generations are listening. They want a better Nigeria. They want a nation that they can make to be extremely proud of and march out with so much pride in them that I am a Nigerian. Look at, we are drifting. Look, there was a conference in Paris. There was a conference in Ghana recently. Rwanda, Kenya were there. Where were we? In Ghana. The G20 they used to invite Nigeria. Right now, nobody calls us. Nobody calls us because of this internal wrangling. And this nation is blessed. Our constitution is not the proper constitution for this country. It is so military in its design and its aperture. Power must come from the base to the top, not from top to bottom.
Yeah. So,
and the electoral process was absolutely shambolic.
Well,
These are things we must get together and sort out.
Well, I think it's a fine place for us to leave it now that we know that you're on course trying to bring every aggrieved member of your political party together and also work for the good, the overall good of Nigeria. Chief Bode George, many thanks for speaking with us here on Arise Prime Time.